Here we are, the second episode of my Halloween movie franchise review series. Let's hope I fuck up less than I did on the first one. The second movie picks up directly after the cliffhanger ending of the original, which I fucking loved, by the way. Now, Michael is following Laurie to the Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, all while Loomis fucks around looking for him.
The Festival of Samhain.
Here's a little refresher for those of you who haven't watched this movie in a while. It's still Halloween night, 1978, and Michael fucking Myers has just casually taken 6 bullets to the chest. Then, he just dips. Knitting needle to the neck, coat hanger to the eye, 6 slugs to the chest, and falling off of a balcony? You gotta do better than that. This psycho's got shit to do. This dude just strolls through the neighborhood, kifes a knife, dices up some random chick, and then just happens to overhear that Laurie has been taken to the hospital.
The teenager was taken across town to Haddonfield Memorial Clinic.
Loomis, of course, is just running around, freaking everybody out, and accidentally getting Ben Tramer killed in the most horrific way possible. At the hospital, Michael slashes through the entire staff, while a drugged up Laurie plays hide and seek and passes out randomly. Loomis finally arrives at Haddonfield Memorial after carjacking a marshal at fucking gunpoint.
What is it you fellas usually do? Fire a warning shot, right?
Michael chases Laurie and Loomis around for a while, leaving Laurie no choice but to shoot his goddamn eyeballs out. But, still kicking, this lunatic resorts to swinging the scalpel around the room, just jonesing to dice somebody up. So, in a totally thought out and completely sane move, Loomis decides to blow up half the freaking hospital.
It's time, Michael.
Michael, now on fire, gives us one more holy shit before stumbling around and finally collapsing, and definitely burning to death. Laurie survives, obviously traumatized, but she won't have to worry about this crazy fuck chasing around again for at least 20 years. What the fuck is up, internet? Welcome to the channel, and welcome to this episode of The Reviewer. You may be shocked to hear this, but I'm actually not a legitimate film critic. Yeah, it's true. As a matter of fact, I've never taken a single class, read a book, or even skimmed through an article based on anything film education related ever. But since I've already been sharing my opinions about stuff on YouTube as a hobby, why not throw some of the movies and shows I watch into the mix? My first impressions of this movie, and it started really early with Loomis like feeling around where Michael fell off the balcony and finding blood. Like, he's not even like, dude got up. Like, he's not even like being defensive. He's just like casually like wandering out in the front yard. Like, this movie, it was a step down, right? Like, I still think it's good for a Halloween movie, but watching the first one week and then coming back and watching this one, the first one I haven't watched in a while, the second one I haven't watched in a while either, but coming back and watching this one, like, it's still good, right? Like, it's still a good Halloween movie. Still, the vibe is the same, a lot of things are the same, but it's just like kind of sloppy. Like, it's not as tight, right? There's just like some weird weird things that happen in the movie. We'll talk about that when we get to the plot, but that was my first impression was, this is okay, right? And it might be painting my critique of this movie a little bit, just having watched the first one again, but it just is nowhere near as good as the first one. My expectations, I haven't really watched this movie in a while. Like, a lot of these, I remember them. I know which crazy scenes happen in each movie, but I haven't watched them like from beginning to end in a long time. And even the ones that I did watch, that was probably back, I watched them on cable. I didn't really watch, you know what I mean, the whole movie, I don't think, because I'm always a little surprised about things that I didn't really remember rewatching these. But my expectations were that this was going to be a good movie. There's more kills in it, and Michaels does a lot more shit. We get to see him a lot more. It was kind of what my memory was. But then going back and watching it, I mean, those things are kind of true. It was pretty good. It was more of a horror movie than the first one. The first one was a little more suspenseful than this one, because there's a lot of kills in this one. Like, Michael gets busy. He gets active in this movie for sure. The opening scene, like, first we get like the reenactment part, the ending of the first movie. I do like, a lot of people have a problem with it because it looks kind of funny compared to the first movie. But the stunt where Michael falls off the balcony, like, you know what I mean? In the original, he falls back and like flips over the railing, and in this one, he's clearly on like a platform or something, falls back and then just kind of falls off. You kind of understand why they do that, because they don't want the stunt man to like fall and, you know what I mean, fuck up the stunt. So I mean, I get that, and I think it looks cool, right? Like, you get an angle of seeing what it looked like when Michael actually fell off the balcony in a way. But yeah, then it's, you know what I mean, Loomis on the ground, like patting the grass is weird. I mean, he does find out that he did shoot him. So I guess that's like a confirmation moment. But it's just like, it just seems strange. Like, he should come running down, looking around and running off. You know what I mean? That makes more sense than him. That's just like the execution. This movie is like, I get it. I like the premise of it. Michael, you know what I mean, getting away, you know, hacking through some people, hacking through the, you know what I mean, the setting of the hospital is awesome. Hacking through the staff is pretty cool. You know what I mean? But there's just like some weird like detail stuff. And that's one of them that kind of stuck out to me right away was, why is he just like casually wandering around? He just shot the guy and he got up and ran off. Like, that would be way more like careful than Loomis was being. But Loomis is a psycho.
I think you missed him. No man could take 6 slugs.
I told you this isn't a man.
The story and the plot. Like, the story is good. The plot is pretty good. It's just the details of it, how some things look. One thing that sticks out to me more than anything, and how like the difference in this movie is that when Michael's wandering around the streets, he bumps into the guy with the boombox and figures out where Laurie is. And then he just continues to walk, and he just kind of like mingles with the crowd. Like, I get the idea of this is like they finally give us a reason why he's chasing Laurie around. It's because of his sister or whatever. But he just randomly killed the one chick, right? He didn't kill the old couple when he took their knife, but he does kill the neighbor girl. Why isn't he not like hacking up these people on the street when he sees them? Why isn't he like stalking around and cutting people up? Why is he just, hell-bent on finding Laurie? Like, there's just a lot of like stuff. Like, I'm watching it the whole time and I'm like, huh? Why? What? Like, there's just, the story is good. The plot is good. It's just like the weird little details around it are just not executed very well, in my opinion. Characters are pretty good. Loomis is psycho. That's believable. Laurie is a damsel in distress. I mean, I guess she was kind of that. in the first one, although she did fight back. She didn't really, well, she shot his eyes out. I guess that's most you can ask for. So that seemed kind of legitimate. The only acting that I thought was kind of corny, that stuck out to me as corny, is when the boombox guy bumped into Michael. Like, that was like, that whole thing was kind of goofy. I don't know, but everything else was cool. The one blonde cop that was talking about, it was kind of funny how he kept passing Loomis the lighter and a cigarette, and he kept the lighter. I mean, Loomis is a lighter thief. That should be noted. But it's funny that came back at the end where he used a lighter to blow up half the hospital. But yeah, so the characters are pretty good. I guess I can't really, other than that Jimmy dude, that whole interaction was pretty strange. I don't understand why the security guard didn't take a second just to show that nurse how to work the Walkman now. Right? That was kind of stupid. But I guess it's not really acting in character. I feel like, other than that character being kind of dumb, the cop just being like, ah, fuck it, there must not be anything really going on. Like, as soon as that cat jumped out at me and I found like a pool of blood in the dumpster, I think I'm gonna go in real quick and make sure that chick knows how to run the fucking walkie-talkie. I think so. The direction in this comes kind of like, I feel like this Carpenter directed some of the scenes in this, but it's a new director, right? And so there's just like weird, some of the directing stuff, and the cinematography is still really good. Like, it's still the same vibe. It still feels like it's the same night as far as that goes. The direction though, like, there's just like some weird stuff. Like when the nurse comes in, or the nurse, the driver lady, she comes in and Loomis is like, oh, I didn't recognize you. Like, what's the point of that? Why couldn't she just walk in and him say, oh, hey, nurse? Like, it's so weird. Like, that kind of stuff sticks out to me in my head. And, like, when Loomis kept warning the marshal, don't go near him, he's not dead yet. But the marshal kept doing it. And then he gets, like, predictably, Michael sits up and stabs him. Like, it's just like, there's just, like, parts of it that seem like they're unnecessary. Like, another example is when the security guard is going through the different doorways. And it's just like, it's so drawn out, and it doesn't have to be. Like, there's blood in the dumpster, which is kind of weird. Like, what was Michael doing in the dumpster? Cat jumps out. Okay, I understand the jump scare. I'm down with that. But then he walks into the workshop. He looks around, nothing. He goes into the one door, stuff falls on him. You know what I mean? He goes in, like, it's just like, dude, the next door, Michael should be there and killing him. Like, the pacing is weird, I guess. That's what it is to me. The pacing is kind of weird to me. Lori being, like, just an invalid through the whole movie. Like, she doesn't do shit. Other than at the end when she plugs him in the eyes. Didn't help, didn't do much. Did blind him, I guess. Yeah, there's just like some weird little stuff. Like the one EMT who's like, all of a sudden he's in love with Lori. Like, it went from, oh, she's a girl that goes to school with my brother, to I will protect you at all costs. Like, what the fuck? What happened there? Like, there's parts that there's like extra stuff, and then there's parts where I'm like, how did we get to this point, right? Like, the cinematography is good though.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to you.
The music is clutch. I mean, it's still really good. It still matches up with the first one. The music does. All the sounds are legit. Yeah, I can't. As long as when they're using the fucking Halloween theme and they're using it in the right spots, there's just no way you can complain about it. It's just flawless. It's perfect. It comes in always at the right moment. All the sounds are good. Like, the one that kind of sticks out, like, maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but when he jumps out with the first girl he kills, is there like a springing sound when he jumps up? Like, kind of like, when he jumps up and stabs that girl. It should just, I don't know, that kind of, if I'm remembering that correctly, I have to go back and watch it. But I felt like that was kind of like a funny sound when he jumps up. But the music, of course, is classic. All the music and sound, other than that one point, yeah, it's good. Real good. The kills, right? This movie's got like a bunch of kills, and they're all pretty good, right? Some of them are kind of weird. I know that one people really like is the needle to the temple of the one nurse, but it seems too clean, right? Doesn't this seem too clean for Michael Myers to just like stick her in the temple? The best kill is definitely the hot tub kill. The security guard getting it with the hammer is pretty good. The marshal getting slit across the throat is pretty good. Yeah, the one Jimmy that is talking about the weird guy that's in love with Laurie all of a sudden. Are we assuming that he died from the head injury of falling in the blood and then just somehow made it out to the car? Or did he pass out? Is he dead or did he pass out? That one I don't know. I don't know if that's an actual kill. If it is, it's pretty fucking lame. I mean, Michaels didn't really kill the guy. What, fucking blood trap? Him like siphoning the blood out of the nurse is kind of weird. Again, that's like a clean thing. Michael's more of a slasher hacky type. So like letting all of her blood out, like that's kind of weird. I mean, the scalpel in the back was pretty fucking gnarly too. When he lifts up the nurse with the scalp, that's a good kill. You don't see, like, the girl that gets killed in the hot tub, you don't see how her boyfriend gets it, but so there's the best. I would say that the best kill, hot tub kill. Second best kill is probably the scalpel to the back because it's just like iconic. I feel like I would go with the security guard. And then maybe the marshal.
He stopped breathing. No!
Because we don't see how the doctor gets it. He just gets turned around and has the, I don't know if it's a needle or a scalpel in the eye. Michael's death is sick. Like if he's, you know, we know he's not really dead, but him getting blown up is pretty fucking badass. The themes and messages of this movie, I mean, when there's like a homicidal maniac on the loose, right, has already killed some people and still hasn't been captured, I feel like the people, you should pay more attention to that. Like if there's like something that happens locally, pay attention to it until you find out that there's no threat. Because these people at the hospital are just super casual. I mean, the one guy's just getting fucking stoned in the break room is just crazy. I mean, I guess that's kind of how maybe I would deal with a homicidal maniac running around. I'd probably want to get baked too. But then he's just horny. He's trying to hook up with the nurse. That one guy, Jimmy, like he's the only one. And then when Laurie found out that the phones were off, she was like, oh shit. But everyone else was just like, it just seemed like a regular night to them. Like even the stoner guy is like, everybody's freaking out about this Michael Myers stuff. I didn't really get the point that was what was happening. It seemed like Laurie and Jimmy were the only two that were kind of like worried. Everybody else was just going about their business. So yeah, if something happens if you see a news report, school shooting, fucking robbery, like whatever, keep your nose to that shit until you find out it's clear. But be like head on a swivel until you get the fucking okay.
Amazing Grace. Come sit on my face.
I like this movie, right? Like, it was hard. After watching the first one, it just raises the bar so much. And this is clearly a step down. I don't know how anybody would be able to argue with me about that. Like, it's clearly a step down, just like in quality. Like, a lot of things are still good. I like the story. I like the premise. The plot is still pretty good. Loomis would totally get a guy accidentally killed for sure because he's a psycho. But it's just the execution. There's just bits and pieces that kind of take me out of it, right? Like when Lori keeps passing out. I mean, I get why she is, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, it just kind of seems lame. And then she can't scream. Like when Loomis and them pull up, she can't scream until they walk in, and then she can scream. Help me! There's just like things that I'm just asking too many questions, and I shouldn't be asking about that. I shouldn't be asking, right? I feel like that's the conclusion. But overall, the plot is good. The acting is pretty good. It's still a good movie, right? It's still a good Halloween movie. There's just bits and pieces of it that maybe if I had watched it just before I watched the first one again so fast, or gave it some time, maybe it wouldn't be like there would be so many obvious deficiencies in it. But it's still cool. You get to see Michael Myers rampage around and kill people. Laurie Strode and Loomis are in it. So I mean, my conclusion is that I wish it was a little more tight. I should have just took a little more time to tighten it up, but I think they added some of the kills too afterwards. Still a good movie though. It's just nowhere near as good as the first one. Yeah, I would recommend it. Like, I would recommend people watch it if they like Halloween. Like, if you're like, some people might find the first one kind of boring, even though I feel like it's put together better. Some people might find that one boring compared to the second one. The second one's definitely got more action. So if you're like somebody that likes, more kills, I guess, I would recommend this one over the first one. But I would always recommend the first one over this. I would probably recommend watch this one and then the second one. Even though that doesn't make any sense to do that. Because then maybe the second one wouldn't seem as like sloppy. Sloppy's not the right word. Inconsistent, maybe that's a better word. I just feel like it's just not as clean as the first one. As far as Halloween movies go, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say it's a good solid 7. I mean, I'm trying to think of what I would put ahead of it, like in my memory. Like, I think, just not knowing right now, like, I feel like the first one is a solid, it's right now, my rankings would be the first one is the best. The second one is not as good. And just going off of memory, I think I would put Halloween H2O above this one. I think I would put Kills above this one. And I'd put Halloween 2018 above this one, at least for now. I guess the rankings as we go through this will probably vary or be rearranged. Because I'll probably do like a tier list at the end of this series, but it's good, but it's not great. I would say 7 for sure.
Mr. Hunt?
Yeah, what is it, Craig?
Yeah, I'm worried about Bennett Tramer. He isn't home yet.
But what did you think about Halloween 2? Am I right? Is it just obviously worse than the first one? How would you have it ranked higher? 8, 9? I mean, is it that good to you? What do you think about the kills? What do you think about Michael's mask is a little funny looking in this one because the actor's head's fatter? That looks a little different. I still think it's the same. I mean, I don't think it's really all that noticeable unless you like put a picture of each next to each other, because the way they frame them in the dark and stuff like that, rarely do you see just his mask, like, you know what I mean, straight up. So, but yeah, and what do you think about my review of this movie? Am I just fucking wasted or faded, or do you agree? Well, that's all I have for now. Make sure to let me know what you think about this video in the comments. I'll catch you on the next one. Later.